Welcome to the throne, where the cardboard shines. Stories in the stats, legends frozen in time. Slow it down with Royal Ripzz, the podcast for the cards you love.
What is up, everybody? It is your host, Randy Ripzz here with episode 8 of the Royal Ripzz Room. And this one here is different. This episode kicks off a 3-part season finale, and I want to be clear right from the start. What you're about to hear isn't easy, but it's real. No cards, no takes, no hype. This is my story. Not for sympathy, not for shock, but because somebody listening right now needs to hear that where you start does not decide where you finish. This episode is called Building the Fire, because before you ever see strength, there's pressure. Before confidence, there's confusion. Before purpose, there's pain. So if you're listening right now, lock in, because this is where it all began. Here's my hustle lesson for today. Some people hustle to get rich. Others hustle just to survive. And survival teaches you things money never could. When you grow in chaos, when you learn how to read rooms early, when you learn when to stay quiet, when you learn how to adapt, when you learn how to move without being taught. There's where my grind was born. Not in comfort, not in motivation videos, but in survival mode. A lot of people don't understand why I move the way I move, why I stay locked in, why I don't like to waste time. It's because once you learn what instability feels like, you never want to go back. And that kind of pressure, it doesn't crush everyone. Sometimes it builds kings. I'm going to start at the very beginning. A lot of people in my life have heard the bad, but I'm going to start off with some of the good. Growing up at the very beginning, from a young age, what I can remember is life was good. When my dad was alive, him and my mom were together, life was good. My fondest memory is every single Friday after a week of school, if we had good grades or we were good, we would get to go to Walmart, Kmart, Toys R Us, and we get to pick a toy that we liked, and then we would go out to eat right after. So that was just a thing we look forward to every single Friday. Every single Saturday, we would go ride four-wheelers with our family friends, and then every single Sunday, we'd have a barbecue. So life was not bad, my entire life. A little, we were getting toys, Christmases were good, etc. Life was good for a short moment of time, you know what I mean? And, growing up now, having the mindset of, what I can process, if I think things that happened, growing up really altered the way I think, really altered, kind of the way I move and all that. So we would have these parties every single Sunday. Family friends would come over. My dad would barbecue, and they, now that I can really process it, every single Sunday, my parents would get way too drunk, and every single Sunday they'd have like a lashing out at each other, and it was never good. It was rough as kids. No kid should ever have to see that, right? So I think, starting that off, I think that, that has really changed my outlook on life, and is a big reason why I don't drink alcohol, and big reason why I don't do any drugs or anything like that, is because I never want to put my family in harm's way, right? So let's start off with the day everything changed for me mentally. Everything changed for my family drastically, right? February 28th, 2008, normal day. We had family come over. We were barbecuing, having fun. Obviously, the adults were drinking. And then all of a sudden, my mom and dad go to the restroom, and they start arguing. The entire house can hear it. Us, my younger brothers, can hear it. And we were told to go outside to go jump on our trampoline. So we, thinking, I guess they were thinking that if we went outside, we wouldn't be able to hear it. And, we didn't have to hear what was going on, because this argument was just different. It was, it was an argument that, now that I'm, look back on it, it's probably the worst argument they've ever been in. So me and my brothers go outside. We're jumping on the trampoline. Obviously, we're mama's boys, right? We don't want to see our mom crying. We don't want to see our mom get hurt, etc., right? So we're outside, and then all of a sudden, my younger brothers start saying, "I hate you, Dad," right? So I join in. I'm like, "I hate you, Dad. I hate you." We're outside the bathroom window. "I hate you. I hate you." We run inside. We're saying, "I hate you. I hate you. I hate you." And then all of a sudden, he storms out of the restroom. He's crying. He looks at us, and he looks at my mom, and he says, "They hate me because of you." And he left. And his face, I remember it like it was yesterday, right? It was rough. If I knew that was the last time I was ever going to see him, I would have changed things. I play it back in my head over and over and over. I played in my head like I could have changed it. If I would have stopped my brother, she'd still be here. So obviously he leaves, right? He leaves, gets in his Dodge truck, and he zooms out, goes down the road, zooms out of the house, etc. About 10 to 15 minutes later go by, an ambulance zooms past our house, and our mom immediately says our dad's name and says it's him. When we were young, at that age, I think I was like 9 or 10, you can't remember that. You can't process what's going on. So my mom leaves with our aunt. They go down the road. They come back. My mom's outside crying. Our neighbors talking to her. Our family friends are there talking to her. And obviously we're not processing that. We're just kids. We went along with our night. We were playing, took baths, etc. And then about, I would say 1 to 2 a.m., our mom sat me and my 2 younger brothers down and told us, and I blurted out. I don't know what it was, but I blurted out right before she said it. I said, Dad passed or Dad died, something around that realm. And she said yes. And at a young age, that tore me up. That was my best friend. That was somebody that I wanted at every single birthday. Because sometimes he would work out of town. So he was somebody that I wished, that was my birthday gift. I wanted for him to be in town. He was somebody that I could find in at a young age. And hearing those words, man, it's today. It's still, it gets me in a dark place. I'm not going to lie. It gets me in a very dark place, somewhere where I don't want to be. Losing our dad at such a young age, I think really altered our entire lives. Altered the pain we went through. Altered, what was coming next. Not even the smartest man, not even the most knowledgeable guy, the most intelligent man would have known. What happened next was rough. Our lives were altered forever. It changed me it still affects me till this day. What happened next wasn't supposed to happen. That's not a life that kids are supposed to go down. Again, I didn't want to make this for sympathy. I didn't want to make this for shock or for views or clicks or anything like this. I made it for one reason and one reason only. This 3-part series I'm making for one reason and one reason only. It's for the one person that's listening who is down on themselves, who has been going through a rough time, and they're telling themselves, I'm never going to win. I'm never going to get that win. But I promise you, it's not how life starts, man. It's not how a situation starts. It's how it finishes. And most of the time, I'll be honest with you, it is up to you to get yourself out. I'm going to go into more detail, episode 9 next week, what happens next. But everything that happened, I could have, my life should have went way different than it is now. I should have been in jail. I should have been dead. I should have been homeless. I could have went 1,000 different directions. I could have been a drug addict. I could have been an alcoholic. I could have been somebody that was doing crimes in and out of jail. That is how life could have went for me. But I turned it around. And it wasn't easy. I'm not going to lie to you. It was not easy. Because the whole entire time I was going through all those situations, I thought somebody was coming to save me. I thought somebody was going to bring me out of that. And little did I know, and something I wish somebody would have taught me at a very young age, nobody is coming to save you. It is up to you to get yourself out. Don't let those tragedies, don't let the stuff that happened to you in the past life alter the way you are now. You don't want to be that person that's mean to their wife, mean to their family, that doesn't want to provide, that wants to just drink, smoke, drugs, etc. You change the way you live your life. You help alter your future, your kids' future, your kids' kids' future. You're the one. So don't sit here and don't be down on yourself, and don't ever think that you are down for the count, that life isn't going to work out for you, because I promise you, I am the perfect example. Life works out for you. Continue to fight. Continue to be you. Don't lose hope. Don't lose faith, because I promise you, you're going to get out. I wasn't supposed to have this life. I'm not supposed to have a beautiful family. I wasn't supposed to meet the perfect woman. I wasn't supposed to be buying a house, owning my own car, my own house, my own business. I wasn't supposed to be doing that. I was supposed to be back in Houston slumming it. I'm supposed to be back in Houston being a bum. But I didn't let what happened to me define me. And that is what I want this 3-part series to be. Don't let things that happened to you in the past, or don't let anything that your parents have done to you, don't let what your life growing up done to you, don't let that alter who you are. Continue to be great. Continue to just be you. Because I promise you, it may not look pretty now. And there's going to be a ton of downs. There's going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be things that don't make sense. But I promise you, at the end, if you stay loyal to yourself, you stay loyal to who you believe in, you stay loyal to everything you possibly can stay loyal to, it is going to work out in the end. You're going to make it out alive. You're going to make it out happy, blessed, like you ain't never been before. I lost my best friend, my dad, at a very young age. I could have let that define me for the rest of my life. I could have went down the path my mom went down and let it affect me. So again, this is episode 8, part 1 of a 3-part series of what transpired to build Giblet King Sports Cards and what inspired me to be me. Me to be the guy I am today. The guy who loves, cares, and will do anything to the ends of the world to make sure, no matter who it is, if I've known you for 5 seconds or I've known you for years, to make sure you're good and you're going to come out okay. I believe in you. I love you. And I promise you, I'm going to do whatever it takes. Even if you're a stranger, please reach out. I'm willing to talk and help whoever I can. Thank y'all for listening. If this hit home for you, make sure you subscribe at Giblet King Sports on YouTube. Make sure you follow on Spotify and Apple Podcasts at the Royal Ripzz Room. And make sure y'all just show some love to whoever y'all can, even if it's a stranger. Because you have no clue what that one word, that one doing can do for somebody. I love y'all. See y'all next week for part 2. See y'all next week for Christmas. Again, you're doing great. Keep doing you. Life's going to be great. I love y'all. See y'all next week.
Bro, ça tue, ça blesse, ça flingue. Hey, hey, hey.